Hey everybody, I think I'm going to do a pretty easy DCC install today. In fact, it's not even going to be a full install because it's one of those scenarios where this already has a DCC decoder in it. And as far as I could tell, there's no real need to switch it out. It seems to work fine, but I do want to add sound to this, so it is going to be a perfect time to do an ESU Locksound FX. The FX has opened up it's not a whole new world, but it's so much less expensive. And if you already got a DCC decoder, and especially one that's already put in from the factory, then why do you really have to worry? And this is a fairly older model since it has an 8-pin, but this is a really good candidate. If you look, there's a lot of room back here for the decoder, and up front, looks like, I'm not sure what that was for, if it was for a speaker, or if it was also for a decoder. I'm not entirely sure, but let's see what we can do. And by the way, this is a Deutsche Bahn locomotive, but it's actually an E483, which is used, it's the Italian system of labeling things. But what it looks like to me is just a BR185.2, I think. Maybe it's a .1, but I'm pretty sure it's a .2, so we can just use that. Of course, it'll be in German, but I think this will work just fine. So let's go check, and it says it works in Poland. I looked to see if there was one in Italy, and nope, so we'll have to use the BR185.2. Fair enough, no problem. It's basically just a Trax. And I think this one was freight, but I'm actually going to use it for passenger because it's me, and of course I am. So the first way I'm going to try is I'm just going to go ahead and cut these leads, the red and the black, directly into the top of the 8-pin board. Why not? Let's go ahead and go into Lock Programmer and see if we can actually read the FX chip, and there it is. No problem. So cutting it directly in on top of the regular decoder, or at least in parallel with the regular decoder, doesn't seem to be any problem. So let's go ahead and try to write it and see what happens. All right, here we go. Plug it in, we'll write it. So I've done one previous install before and it wrote directly in, but this one appears to be stalling out. So that's sort of the chance you take by putting it directly in parallel with the other decoder. I had one where it will write just fine, it'll bypass the other decoder, and this one, yeah, looks like it's not going to do it. So we're going to have to do this, well, probably what is a little bit more sensible way to begin with. So let's go ahead and cancel this one out, and it won't cancel. So eventually I'm probably going to have to unplug the lock program from the computer, and that should dump it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to solder in this 2-pin connector directly where the black and red were before, and I'm going to put the opposite end connector onto the FX5, and that way when I need to program it directly, I can pull it out and simply attach another connector lead into the lock programmer itself. So that's the way to get around this problem, and once it's all programmed, it won't be a problem because any CV values you send will send to both. So here we go, we'll read the decoder information. It's tied directly into the lock programmer now. No problems, looks exactly the same, and we will go ahead and write it out. So it's the easy way around it, and this way you can open things up, and there it goes. It switches the program just like it should, and it starts writing the sound data. So if you have this issue, that's all you have to do is just simply pull it out, take out direct solder, and maybe it's a better idea to do it this way anyway from the beginning, and that way you just don't have to worry about it. And if we look, everything fits in here pretty well. I use double-sided tape to hold on to the FX in that little slot, and then I just simply put a speaker with a 2mm baffle. That should be plenty. This is an electric locomotive, so it doesn't need really any bass. That'll work just fine. And I think we should be good to go. Not every DCC conversion is going to be difficult, and so you should figure out the best, easiest way to do it as possible, and this one was really simple. However, we will have one that I will attach onto this that will be much more difficult, and it's going to use this FX decoder also. So this is really part 1 of 2, and the reason why is this is a pushable consist, but there are no lights, and that means headlights or tail lights or any kind of passenger lights. There's no lights in this consist, and there's absolutely no provision for having one. There's no way to put a slider onto this consist. There's no way to pump electrical power into it or nothing. So this is going to be worked on again, and that's going to be a little bit more difficult than this conversion was. Let me turn this consist around for you. You can see what I'm talking about. And as far as I know, this is the only DB Intercity Knight Talgo that they produced. Of course, I'm looking in here going, man, these are small. I think they use these in Oregon. Doggone it, these are some small carriages. It seems like they'd be really cramped. But as you could see from looking at the front, there's no lights. There's no way to get power into this. So we're not done with this locomotive and this consist. So we'll start off easy, make it a little bit more difficult, and I hope you'll get something out of both of them. Not 100% sure how to light this consist yet, but I think I've got a good idea. So I will get back to that pretty soon. All right, well, I hope this helps you out. It's really easy to do an FX install. So until next time, take care, stay safe, happy model railroading, and I will talk to you later. Bye for now.